We are live. This is Daniels at the Box Channel channel. And tonight we have a subject that I'm sure is well anticipated. And that is the rematch between Torrance Bud Crawford and Earl the Truth Spence Jr. Right? This fight had transpired this year, I believe in May, if I'm not mistaken. But the outcome was Torrance Bud Crawford totally dominated Errol Spence in a fight that was said to have been a 50-50 fight. Either fighters could have won this fight. And up until the beatdown, that was anticipated. But again, Torrance Bud Crawford totally dominated Errol the Spence Jr. Fortunately for the Spence Jr., Errol Spence Jr., there was a rematch clause in the contract for whoever lost the fight had the right to per certain obligations must have certain obligations had to be made before the rematch could be uh, orchestrated. And that being said, or Earl the Spence, or the true, excuse me, Earl the True Spence fulfilled his obligations to the underlying issues in the contract for the fight, the rematch to be made. So now that that's out of the way, we still have, unfortunately, other hurdles to overcome before the fight transpires, and that is the date and venue. Being that PBC, who is a representative of Errol Spence, lost his contract with Showtime. Therefore, the only available venue that PBC has been able to have a contract with is Prime. No, not Showtime. Excuse me. Amazon Prime. They have now acquired a contract with Amazon Prime. Being that that is the case, they have yet to determine when that fight will be scheduled. From the contract with uh, Amazon Prime, there is some language in the contract that only allows for 14 fights to be made per year. Now, I don't know how that's going to work with all the fighters and all the people that boxers that is that or fighters that the PBC has to work with in order to make everybody under their camp happy. But I'm quite sure the math that's associated with the 14 fights isn't going to be respectable to each and every fighter that wants to fight up under the PBC ban. That being said, fortunately for Torrance Crawford and Errol Spence, I'm quite sure that they will fall within the range of the 14 fights that are offered by Showtime Prime. Now, I'm not saying that PBC, being the brilliant minds associated with the PBC, mainly speaking of Al Heyman, can't come up with a better solution for the problem and going out and finding another venue, another representative that can feature PBC's fights. That has yet to be determined, but it is, I'm quite sure, a consideration within the walls and the minds of Al Heyman. So that being said, although the rematch doesn't have a date, I feel compelled to act as though the fight it should be made. With that in mind, Terrence Bud Crawford is a two-time undisputed world champion. He is furthermore undefeated. He is undisputed as a lightweight champion. And he also is undefeated as a welterweight champion. He has two undisputed world champion titles. And I think that that's darn good for a boxer, a male boxer, because this is the first time this has ever been pulled off uh, in boxing history, that a male a male has two undisputed world championships under his belt. But Crawford is 36 years of age. He's 5'8". He has a 74-inch arm reach. He's a southpaw, a left-hander, but he is equally impressive with his right hand, which will make him ambidextrous. He can switch either side. And I might add, for the challenger, that would be for me as a tackled when dealing with the offense and the defense of the opposition to Bud Crawford. His ambidextrous behavior. And there is counter to those challenges. Need I say more? I will not go into detail, but I am telling you, I can basically come up with solutions to beat Bud Crawford. And honestly, this hasn't been the case, especially with Errol Spence, because if the training staff that trained Errol Spence didn't come up with the solution that I came up with, it's obvious that they didn't come up with it. They didn't come up with them. I have a few. My point is that Charles Bud Crawford has some chinks in his armor. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Anyway, he's 40 wins, 31 by knockout, no losses, no stops, and no draws. Like I said, he's undefeated. Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence is 33. He's 5'10". He has a 72-inch arm reach, and that's awfully strange to me. Bud Crawford is 5'8". Errol Spence is 5'10". That's 2 inches. But Bud Crawford has a 74-inch arm reach. That's like 2 inches. That's like 2 inches, right? And Errol Spence has a 72-inch arm reach. Again, that's like 2 inches, right? Bud has over Errol Spence. Now, for thought process such as mine, the 2-inch variation between the fighters would be comparable to making a statement in the ring with me, as is the case with the height, the 2-inch height advantage that Errol, the true Spence, has over Bud Crawford. Now, I don't know how most trainers think, but I know how I think, right? These variables play a heavy strategic role in how one moves or doesn't move in the ring. I'm saying it in the hypothetical sense, in the sense that he moves or he doesn't move, right? Meaning that these issues that I see, I just don't understand why the trainers ain't seeing them. But that's another thing for another day. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that as a trainer, it is your job to come up with scenarios to put in your fighter's arsenal to defend. But Crawford is by all means a great boxer, right? He's a great boxer, but I'm just telling you, there is ways that you can get around a lot of the things that Bud Crawford does. And I'll leave you with that as far as the training is concerned. Okay. Errol Spence has 28 wins, 22 by knockout. He has one loss to Bud Crawford and one stop to Bud Crawford. No draws, right? And Bud, no, Errol Spence was actually the title holder of 3 belts. Bud Crawford only had 1 belt that would have left Errol Spence with the 4 belts that would have made him undisputed had he overcame Crawford. That's self-explanatory. But I thought I would throw that in just because that's a fact. So, with that in mind, Errol Spence's accolades are pretty domineering in and of themselves in respect to a lot of main fighters as 147, right? He beat a lot of guys in that class that were on the higher echelon of the 147 weight division, like uh, Sean Porter. Who's that? That Brit. It was a guy that was out of Great Britain. His name escapes me. But anyway, most of the guys in the 147-pound division, in the higher echelon of that division, Errol Spence whooped him, right? So that should tell you that by no means is Errol Spence a pushover, right? How Bud Crawford ran through him is left to the beholder, left to the mind of the beholder to figure out, right? Those that love boxing like I mean, you should be trying to figure this out, right? I figured it out. You know what I'm saying? If you hear me, I figured it out, right? Not, I don't know if I'll say this: if Errol Spence hasn't changed his tactic, what you're going to have is a repeat of the same. If he hasn't honed in on anything that Bud Crawford did in the last fight to overcome the things that made Errol Spence fail, we're gonna have actually the same outcome. Errol Spence is gonna be dominated, and I mean, I just can't believe that it's as simple as that, but it is. If Errol Spence doesn't come up with a technique, a way to defend his opposition, we are going to have not. Not going to say the exact same result. But rest assured, we're going to have the same result as far as the win column is concerned. But Crawford will whoop Errol Spence again if he doesn't change certain things in his overall scheme, his movement, right? What he does with once Bud Crawford does what he does. If he hasn't changed that to be able to counter with Bud Crawford, it will have the same results. I hate to tell you that, but that's just a reality. And so I just look forward to that fight taking place. I know it's a lot of them that really don't care to see it because they believe that Trump's Crawford is going to do the same thing, right? And there's a strong possibility that's the case. Like I said, the only thing that'll make this different is Errol Spence. Errol Spence has to change the way that he engages Torrance, excuse me, the way he engages Torrance Bill Crawford. It's simple mathematics. It's very simple for me. You know what I mean? It's quite simple for me. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all tonight. I would appreciate it if you hit the subscription button, the like, and the comments button. No, hit the like button. Drop some comments in the comment section and share my channel with your friends and your relatives and those you care about. Again, peace out.